This video will cover how to create a new release in the Infraon Infinity Suite. To begin, navigate to the New Release button located at the top right corner of the page. Firstly, technicians can add the title for the new release. Then proceed by adding a description for it. Once the description is added, move on to the release details. Start by adding the due date for the release. Following that, select the Release Manager. Then, choose the priority of the release, which can range from low, medium, high to critical, with low being the lowest priority and critical the highest. Next, add a release note. Then assign an assignee for this release. To add an assignee, one can be chosen from the drop-down menu, or click on the Take It option to self-assign. Now, select the impact area as well as the urgency, severity, and risk. All three should be selected from the drop-down box. Then add the version name and the service category. Tags can also be added based on the appropriate selection. Once all the details have been entered, click on Submit as New to create the new release. Following this, the release will appear on the Release Management page. Once the release has been made, let's see the process of how the technician will work on this particular release. Whenever a release is initiated, it starts from an open and new state, which signifies that the release request has been initiated and initial planning begins. After that, the technician will move it to the planning stage. In this stage, the technician will add the build plan and the test plan for the release. Now, let's add the build plan and the test plan for this release. Once these plans are in place during the planning stage, click on Deploy to initiate the planning process. After the planning process is completed, the build implementation will start. Development teams will implement the plan changes. The build plan will execute, and version control will be maintained for the code changes. Once the build plan is executed, it will be marked as Build Complete. When the build is marked as complete, tasks related to the release can be created. To create a task, simply click on the Create New option. Tasks can be classified as separate tasks, features, or issues. The technician can then add a task by adding a title for it, choose the due date, and select the assignee for that particular task, and add details about the task. Once these details are filled in, click on Submit to create the task. Once the required task has been created, the assignee will start working on that task. After the required tasks are completed, it can be viewed in the Release tab, showing that the tasks have been marked completed by the assignee. Once the tasks are completed, the release can be moved into the testing phase, where the testing team will test the entire release. After testing, the release will move to the test release stage and then to deployment. Following deployment, the release can proceed to rollout. When the rollout is finished, the technician can mark the release as completed by adding a closure note. Technicians need to add the assignee who closed the release in the Closed By field, indicating who closed the request, and adding the close type. Once done, click on Complete. The selected release will then be moved to Completed. This concludes the release management process in the Infraon Infinity Suite.